shape the future. As a mark of auspicious beginnings, we are privileged to invite our eminent dignitaries onto the stage.
With great reverence, I now invite to the stage the Vice Chancellor of Anurag University, Dr. Archana Mantri.
Dr. Archana Mantri, a Vice Chancellor of Anurag University, is a visionary leader and seasoned professional with over 3 decades of experience in industry and academia. With a PhD in engineering, Dr. Archana Mantri is a pioneer in immersive technologies with over 100 publications, 43 patents, and 18 funded research projects. She has contributed significantly to national education policy through AICTE and UGCE committees and is a member of several global academic forums featured among top 30 women engineers globally. She exemplifies excellence, innovation, and commitment to Indian values. Thank you, ma'am, for gracing the dais. And now it is my esteemed privilege to invite Professor U.B. Desai, the Chancellor of Anurag University.
Professor U.B. Desai, the Chancellor of Anurag University, received the B.Tech from IIT Kanpur, MS from the State University of New York, USA, and PhD from the Johns Hopkins University, USA. He was the founding director of IIT Hyderabad, and at present, he is Professor Emeritus at IIT Hyderabad. He served as a faculty at Washington State University and IIT Bombay. He has also been a visiting professor at Arizona State University, Purdue University, and Stanford University. His research interests are in wireless communications, wireless sensor networks, cyber-physical systems, IoT, and AI. Thank you, sir, for gracing the dais. We are privileged to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Kartik Matmari, Senior Director at Accenture Technology.
Mr. Kartik Matmari is a Senior Director at Accenture Technology, where he leads enterprise architecture and product development. He has more than 2 decades of experience with top technology and consulting organizations in the areas of software development, engineering management, delivery, strategy, consulting, and people leadership. He is deeply involved in AI-led SDLC, AI strategy, and implementations. He's a Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science. He's a passionate about history and a ferocious leader. Kartik is born and brought up in Hyderabad and is a proud global Hyderabadi. Ladies and gentlemen, may we request to offer a warm round of applause as we welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Kartik Matmari. Thank you, sir, for gracing us. Now, it's profoundly honored to invite to the stage our chief guest, Mr. J.D. Patil, President of the Indian National Academy of Engineering.
With over 4 decades of illustrious service, Mr. J.D. Patil has played a pivotal role in transforming India's defense production landscape. As a senior leader at Larsen & Toubro, L&T, he spearheaded landmark projects in naval systems, aerospace, and strategic defense technology that strengthen India's self-reliance. His contributions extend far beyond industry as he's a mentor to countless young engineers, a driving force behind industry-academia collaboration, and a passionate advocate of research-led innovation. Under his leadership, INAE has strengthened its vision of nurturing engineering excellence and guiding India's path towards technological leadership on the global stage. Recipient of multiple national and international honors, Mr. J.D. Patil exemplifies excellence, foresight, and an unshakable commitment to the nation. We are privileged to welcome him as the chief guest of INAE Youth Conclave, and may I kindly request the audience to rise and extend a standing ovation accompanied by your heartfelt applause in honor of our esteemed chief guest, Mr. J.D. Patil. Thank you, sir, for gracing the dais. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome to the stage Professor V. Vijay Kumar, Dean, School of Engineering at Anurag University.
Professor V. Vijay Kumar received his integrated MS in CSE from USSR and his PhD in Computer Science from JNTU Hyderabad. He served at JNTU Hyderabad for 13 years and was nominated as Executive Council member for Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Srikakulam, by the government of Andhra Pradesh. He also served as Director of Admissions, Professor, and Chairman, Board of Studies for more than 1 year at Rayalaseema University. He has guided 50 research scholars for PhD in computer science and engineering and has published more than 160 research articles in international journals. Thank you, sir, for gracing the dais. With profound honor, I invite to the stage Mr. Anurag Palla, Vice President of Strategy at Anurag University.
Mr. Anurag Palla is a dynamic educational leader and entrepreneur with a strong vision for transforming the Indian educational landscape. He holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from PSG College of Technology and a master's in industrial engineering from Purdue University. He leads digital learning initiatives focusing on integrating technology into academic framework, developing online programs, and fostering a culture of innovation across the institution. His blend of strategic insight, technological acumen, and commitment to educational reform continues to make a significant impact both on institutional growth and the broader educational system. Thank you, sir, for gracing the dais. With deepest respect, I now call upon Dr. G. Vishnumurthy, Dean, Computer Science and Engineering at Anurag
University. Administration. He has authored nearly 80 research papers in prestigious international journals and conferences. His expertise comprises computer vision, big data analytics, and cybersecurity. His leadership extends beyond academia, acted as Executive Council member at JNTU during 2020 to 2024, an NBA trainer on outcome-based education, and was instrumental in obtaining Tier 1 accreditation to all programs at Anurag University. He is also a Level 5 certified leader from Chartered Management Institute, UK. He has enriched his expertise through leadership programs at IIM Indore and Dudley College, UK. Recipient of numerous accolades, including the Significant Contribution Award from the Computer Society of India and Inspiring Faculty Award from Infosys. Thank you, sir, for gracing the dais.
Our dignitaries shall now light the ceremonial lamp, symbolizing wisdom and knowledge, while the soulful voices of our music club, Alap, invoke blessings through a prayer song.
सरस्वती नमोस्तुते सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रते सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रते सरस्वती नमोस्तुते करधृत वीणा पुस्तक वरमणिमालालङ्कृत करधृत वीणा पुस्तक वरमणिमालालङ्कृत सरिम पद पम पद स पद सा निध पमरि स निध स सरिम पद पम पद स पद सा निध पमरि स निध सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रते सरस्वती नमोस्तुते.
With the flame of wisdom lit, this hall shines with knowledge and inspiration. We thank our dignitaries and members of Alap, Chinmay and Pranati for this graceful beginning.
May I now invite Dr. G. Vishnumurthy, Dean CSC and the Chairman of INAE Youth Conclave to give the welcome address.
A very good morning to all. Honorable Chairman, Dr. Palla Rajeshwareddy, a source of inspiration. High-minded Mrs. S. Nilima, CEO. Professor U.B. Desai, Chancellor, Anurag University, is an educator par excellence. Splendid Professor Archana Mantri, Vice Chancellor. My guide and mentor, Professor D. Vijay Kumar, Dean, School of Engineering. Young and dynamic, Anurag Palla, Vice President, Strategy. My industrious colleagues, Professor Sucharita, convener of this program, Professor Ravinder Reddy, Professor Dinesh, co-conveners, and a remarkable guest of honor for today's event, Mr. Karthik Upendra, Senior Director, Accenture, the eminent and exemplary chief guest, Mr. J.D. Patil, President, Indian National Academy of Engineering, respected judges, guests, deans, colleagues, and enthusiastic participants across our great nation, the press and media. A very good morning to all once again. Good morning. Good morning, sir. So with great excitement and pride, I stand before you to welcome on this auspicious event, packed, prestigious, packed with a lot of enthusiasm, the Youth Conclave organized at Anurag University in collaboration with Indian National Academy of Engineering, an event to celebrate the creativity, innovation, and spirit of excellence in engineering. Let me begin by thanking Shri J.D. Patilji, President, Indian National Academy of Engineering, Dr. Jaitirth R. Joshi, Director, BrahMos DRDO, CO MD, BrahMos Aerospace, Professor B.K. Panigrahi, Dean, Student Affairs, IIT Delhi, Mimamsa Gulati, Project Scientist, INAE, and also the visionary leadership of Anurag University for their commitment to foster culture of creativity and innovation. And also I extend my sincere thanks to Department of CSE and other various departments of School of Engineering for their relentless effort from last 7 months to bring this event onto this stage. So let us give a big round of applause to all of them. So let me say a few lines about Anurag University, then a few lines about department and about the event of today. Anurag University, one of the rapidly growing private universities in India, deeply committed to excellence in teaching, research, and innovation. And I am very proud to announce, under the able leadership and guidance of our Chancellor and Vice Chancellor, in the recent National Institute Ranking Framework, NIRF, we moved from 151-200 rank band in engineering to 101 to 150 rank band in engineering. All the engineering programs at Anurag University School of Engineering were accredited by National Board of Accreditation under Tier 1. We focus on student-centric approach, outcome-based education, effective teaching learning pedagogies, and with a more heavy emphasis on self-learning. We have close to 17 professional chapters, 31 technical clubs. Last academic year, it hosted 174 events all put together. The professional chapters, the prestigious IEEE, we had 7 different chapters, apart from having institutional IEEE chapter, including Women in Engineering Affinity Group. Last year, we conducted the conclave of Women in Engineering Affinity Group at Anurag University. The Anurag University is having 3 REM scholarship awards from IEEE into his credit. It's a very prestigious part of IEEE community. We also received $6,000 as prize money sponsorship from IEEE for conducting various events by looking at the number of events that we conducted in last academic year. We created a very good environment at Anurag University. We call culture of hackathon. Last year, we conducted 12 hackathons, including and hackathon from Electronics and Communication Engineering Department. And this year, even the one left department, Mechanical Engineering, has also come forward to organize an hackathon. We also have various initiatives to create an ecosystem for competitive programming among the students on the name or named after Abdul Kalam Hackers Academy. We also have focus on 360-degree development of the student. We are having a very active Toastmasters club mentored by Infosys Pocharam at our campus. We have a strong industry immersion. This year, almost 4 programs we executed in select, train, and recruit model in collaboration with ServiceNow, PwC, Salesforce, and Virtusa. We also have the number of MOUs with the majority of the multinational companies to supplement their classroom learning with global certifications. In addition to this, a plethora of annual events, Sports Bout, Synergy, Bites to Beats, Freshers Party, Achievers Day, Convocation, Alumni Meet, Batkama Celebration, Women's Day, Teachers Day, Engineers Day, the list goes on, which provide not only attending the events, various opportunities to be part of organizing and executing the events. Just a few new initiatives to bring to your notice at Anurag University. Hive, a complete 360-degree ecosystem to foster and nurture entrepreneurial mindset. You might have seen in our INAE Youth Conclave poster support for patent and product development facility is created from that Hive. They support from ideation, prototyping, workspace, product development, marketing, even patenting. The another new initiative, integrated curriculum under the guideship, mentorship of Professor Archana Mantri, integrating curriculum with engineering mindspace, introducing joy of engineering at first year, continued with integrated project, which consists of exploration, experiment, experience, and take up real-time projects. The first, I hope, in the, at Anurag, Telangana State, the first university which has taken amendment to support the students to send for national, international internships. If they got selected through a selection procedure, they can directly go and attend the internship, and they can come back and write the final exams directly for the 100 marks without attending the classwork and without the botherage of continuous internal evaluation and all. And I'm very happy to say from this stage, this year 3 students have taken the advantage of it. One student is in Taiwan, National Chengchun University, taking up a research-based internship. She is part of developing artificial intelligence-based evacuation system for the Taiwan government during the floods. And also few students, one is in Microsoft with a stipend of 1,25,000. Another student with a stipend of 70,000 in Mintra is the beginning of this new initiatives. So let us say thanks from my bottom of the heart to our leadership for coming out with this kind of facilities at Anurag University. This year we started with 40% of credits in master's course through the MOOCs, 10% of credits for open electives and electives through the MOOCs as part of the undergraduation program. The Department of CSC, just to add 2 lines, is one of the kind of program in Telangana which had full cycle accreditation under Tier 1. This department is a recipient of IBM Watson Research Grant. This department has owned the hackathons like PwC, JP Morgan, Deloitte, HSBC, AT&T, Smart India Hackathon, etc. The department has captivated so far 27 awards from the premier industry and premier institutions. Now, the Anurag University School of Engineering students have successfully made entry into the placement to the companies like Microsoft with the 53 lakhs package, Amazon with 38 lakhs package, ServiceNow with 32 lakhs package, Goldman Sachs with 30 lakhs package, JP Morgan with 18.5 lakhs package, Cisco with 19.5 lakhs package, in addition to 78 companies that are constantly coming from last 3 academic years to this Anurag University. The Anurag University has now partnered with INAE, the apex body of engineering in the nation, which plays a pivotal role in promoting engineering education, research, and national development. This conclave embodies our shared vision of advancing engineering knowledge, fostering national development through youth-led initiatives. Our theme, AI and Social Engineering for Better Tomorrow, reflects not just our technological aspirations, but our deep commitment to ensure the fruits of AI must go to the humanity's greatest needs, addressing the greatest needs and challenges of humanity. Today's program is thoughtfully designed to showcase the incredible diversity of ideas, innovations, projects that you have brought from across the nation to this campus today. The technical events planned today, the project expo, poster presentation, tech art, data storytelling, and ideation sessions, which represent different facets of how AI can be applied to address social challenges. And I'm very happy to convey from this stage, we received 1,500 plus registrations for this event, representing from the 14 states. And it was very hectic for the coordinators to do the selection process by keeping it in view of the other facilities available at campus. So let us make this conclave not just a showcase of technical brilliance, but a testament to our shared commitment to build a better tomorrow through responsible innovation. Remember that success is not just winning, it is about learning, growing, and pushing the boundaries. To conclude, whether you walk with a prize or not, but definitely walk with the knowledge, experience, and connections. These are the true rewards. Thank you and wish you all a productive, inspiring day ahead. Welcome once again to the INAE Youth Conclave. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, may I invite Mr. Anurag Palla to deliver the gathering.
A very good morning to our esteemed chief guest, Patil sir, Shri Patil Garu, our guest of honor, Karthik sir, our academic leadership, our on the dais, off the dais, our guest of honors off the dais, and of course today's rock stars from 14 different states, all the students that are present here, all the partners from the industry. Again, namaste, welcome, and especially for my friends from Tamil Nadu, vanakkam. I share a very special relationship with the state of Tamil Nadu. My engineering I did my undergrad in Coimbatore. So again, such a good, pleasurable day, and an amazing day to see all of those bright faces today. I'm not going to, especially having such a stellar people from the industry, I would not take more than 5 minutes from your time. Let me start off by, I know you're a little bit tired already listening about Anurag University. Let me start with just the history of Anurag University, and I promise you it's gonna end with some kind of message. It's just not us doing band baja about Anurag. Just, I would like to connect it to something that I profoundly value, especially in today's time. So we have started off in 1998. Every single brick, every single student, every single person that you see, our intellectual capital, our physical capital, our process, everything started off in 1998 with the visionary leadership of Dr. Palla Rajesh Reddy Garu. And we have moved to this campus in 2002 with the advent of School of Engineering, CVSR College of Engineering. In 2005, College of Pharmacy was added to it. And in 2010, all of those School of Management, School of Pharmacy, School of Engineering were clubbed on one single banner because of regulatory issues on just for better compliance under Anurag Group of Institutions. So in 2011, we have become autonomous from JNTU, our affiliating university. And 2014, we have become autonomous from UGC. 2020, we have reinvented ourselves again to become Anurag University, the first state private university under Telangana State Private Universities Act. After that, we have thank you. After that, we have added 3 more schools: School of Agricultural Sciences, School of Medical Sciences, School and College of Nursing, and this year, Anurag University International College. So today, we serve about 15,000 students. Starting from 1998, trying to find PhDs to teach our students, to graduating our first doctoral students this year. It was a memorable journey. It was a very momentous. It was very, very challenging. But what does that teach us? It teaches us that anything good in our life takes time. Anything good in our life takes consistency. Anything good in our life takes extraordinary effort by selected individuals uplifting the entire organization. Because it was not built by 1 or 2 or 3 people. Every single person that you meet today at Anurag University was part and parcel of that growth. And that is not something that we normally like to pinpoint in anywhere, because today's world is all about individualistic achievements. You cannot do anything individually, nothing. You cannot do anything significant individually. Either it is nation building, organizational building, even if it is growing your family, you need other person to help you build that. Anything worthwhile in your life is built by people that you care about. People. It might be a great company that you're building, it might be a great product that you're making. Anything worthwhile in your life comes from consistent efforts from a single-minded team. And for that, learning beyond a classroom is extremely important. Events like INAE, events like hackathon, events like ideathons, those are where you form those unbreakable bonds with your peers, with your seniors, with your juniors, so that you all can come together and do something that is worthwhile to this world, to this society, and to the nation of Bharat. Why do I say that? It's high time that we are going to focus on building our nation to the best of what it can become. I understand about 30% of you, 40% of you, and especially now we have the top students, maybe 60% of you might be thinking about your studies abroad. That's not a bad thing. But what is bad is settling there. I understand the kind of challenges you might face in a growing economy of a developing nation like ours, but those challenges, those pains are all worth it. Why? There is nothing that gives us more satisfaction than doing something for the altruistic sense. And that word is basically meaning doing something for the others. And whom do you care more than yourself? It might be family, it might be friends, and it might be your country. It can be your country. I don't know if that's that's a thought that has come to your mind, but it can be your country. Those friends and family stay in this country, right? They were nurtured by this country. They were sustained and they're thriving in this country. And that's what I want you all think about. Again, there's one more thing I want you to do, and that might be a little off the beaten path, but as I know that you have already those kind of students who are willing to take risks, I want you to fail. I want you to fail as fast, as forward as possible in as many things as possible. And I'm not talking about stupid exams. Exams anyone can write. I'm not talking about your academics. I'm talking about new experiences, building new things, creating new things. And most oftenly, it doesn't happen that whatever happens in the outcome of your journey might not be the same thing that what you have envisioned, but it is still worth it. The reason why I'm asking you to fail is so that you have a very good relationship with failure. For first time, I failed when I was 23. There was something I really wanted to do, get into the military services. And I couldn't. I was not the right person for the military. And it broke me for 2 years. Second time I failed, 25 again, it broke me for another 1.5 years. So I want you to have that experience much before, because the world is so unforgiving once you graduate, once you go out of this very safe, very controlled environment that you call as universities. So it might be this university, it might be any university or any education institution you're part of. It is very safe, it is very controlled, it is designed in a way to be the best it can for your needs. World is not so designed in that way. World is chaotic. World is unpredictable, and world is very, very volatile, especially right now. With the rising geopolitical concerns, rising geopolitical divide in inequality, wealth inequality, especially social inequality, it is gonna become even more chaotic. So what you guys want to do after 4 years, after 3 years, after 2 years, or I don't know which year you're from, the world's not going to be the same. And every single adult here, we are already rethinking our mental models because none of them are going to work. We are on a very, I don't even know how to kind of portray it. For the lack of a better word, it might be an inflection point. We do not know where the world is heading, especially with the dynamic rise of widespread use of LLMs, widespread use of AI. So imagine in 1990, no one thought Swiggy would be possible. No one thought I'll start cooking and I'll order bendi after I start cooking. It is a very small thing. No one thought that we'll be able to download satellite data at a speed that is being done today. And that is all going to change. There were a lot of things that we have never talked about today, or we never talked about in the last 20 years that's going to happen in the next 5 years. So how are you going to benefit out of it? By trying as many new experiences as possible, trying as many new things as possible, while you do not have a lot to lose. Once you graduate, you might have fiscal responsibilities, you have familial responsibilities, you have career responsibilities, and those all make you less conducive for taking risks. I want you to become more and more conducive to take risks. And how do we do that? By having a stellar relationship with failure. It doesn't matter whether you pass, fail, doesn't matter. All it matters is that you have tried. All it matters is what lessons you have picked up from there. And especially right now, that is the skill that we need. We do not, and I'm telling you, 10 lakh engineers every single year. 60% of them are in computer science allied fields. Everyone goes through the same curriculum, mota. It doesn't matter IIT, doesn't matter government college. Rest in between, same curriculum. What matters is what you do outside that classroom. What matters is what you do in events like INAE or hackathons that you attend. Because those are going to make you stand out. And one more thing that I want you to, ability to learn continuously. Every single day after you graduate, every single day, it doesn't matter. It might be your personal relationships, it might be professional relationships, it might be career related. You do it every single day. You learn a new thing. Yesterday, my social media intern has come to me and told me, sir, we need to do more aura forming. I didn't understand anything that she said. I don't even understand it. I have been Googling yesterday since then. What is aura forming? I don't know what it means. So I have Googled it, asked ChatGPT, asked Perplexity. It has given me a wide range of things which can be considered as aura forming. What I understood is not to be mid. So your entire 10 lakh engineers are mid unless you do things like this. So in your words, start aura forming today. Start those things that you can flex later, 4 years later, 5 years later. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you. I love that you have 700 of students have taken time off their busy schedules to do something that is going to result in wonderful ideas, prototypes, posters. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights on how relationship with failure and how the zeal for our nation will curate us as a better individual and how we can aura farm ourselves. Thank you, sir. And may I now invite our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Archana Mantri, to address the gathering.
Good morning, Mr. Jayant D. Patil, our chief guest for today, Mr. Karthik Matmari from Accenture, our guest of honor, Honorable Chancellor Dr. U.B. Desai, all the dignitaries on and off the dais, and my dear students. Bored already of the speeches? But trust me, this is what is the, well, to talk about you, I don't want, but I will talk about myself. I'm jealous. Why? Because the opportunities which are in front of you or are there coming to you on a day-to-day basis were not there when we were students. And the people sitting here would agree, except for Anurag. He is a young man. But all of us here on the stage would agree that these were not the opportunities that were there. So I'm really jealous of all of you. But what can I do? I was thinking one of the day I was talking to Nilima ma'am and I was telling her that I want to enroll as a student now in this world today. But I also know that the world, what Anurag said, is much more fearsome, gruesome for the generation of yours than it was for us. So it's a kind of a paradox that I'm talking about. So while there are a lot of uncertainties, but there are a lot of opportunities. So that's why I'm jealous. But then I also know that you people are smart. You people are making, you know what is good for you, and you are already learning how to make most of those opportunities. I'm not going to talk about Anurag University. I'm not going to talk about failures because you've already heard about it. But I want you also to thank yourself, your parents, and God, because you are one of those few percentage of the students who are able to make it to higher education. So whatever institute you are enrolled in, whatever opportunities you are having there and here, be thankful, be grateful. That is what I want to give a message to all of you. The gratitude, the thankfulness on a day-to-day basis for what is at your doorstep, what is available to you. Please be thankful for that. And then you will realize that what are the host of opportunities and the power that is unleashed in front of you in terms of these opportunities. Whichever institute you are in, make it a place of positive transformations, disruptions. Don't be guided or make yourself within that framework what is given to you. The national education policy, I was a part of when it was being made, and also when it was to be implemented, the whole framework was being made. I know that national education policy gives you a lot of flexibility. The other thing, the international opportunities. We were there just about a week back in Sweden. Me and Anurag and two of our colleagues were there. And I mean, the kind of education that we are providing at India is no less than what is being done at other countries around the world. So don't think that you are at a country, at a developing, so-called developing nation, at an institute which may not be known to the world, but trust me, the kind of education that you are getting is one of the best. And the world is looking. Like Anurag University was one of the, this was only one of, second of our international conference that we attended and we exhibited there. But the kind of rush and the influx that we had at our booth shows not only the power of Anurag University, the potential that Anurag University carries, but also nation as a whole. So don't undermine yourself, be proud of it. But the only thing is, You have to unleash the power within in terms of what all you can do with the opportunities that you have. So this is what I want to bring you through these opportunities which are created by INAE Youth Conclave and many other such hackathons that you might be participating nationally and internationally, is that these are making your minds fearless. These are making your minds broaden up. So be thankful and make the most of these opportunities. At Anurag University, we are also disrupting every day. We are also challenging our students and our faculty on a daily basis. And that's what you also need to do at your respective institutes. If there are faculty from other institutes, if there are students from other institutes, please do that. Nobody stops you from challenging yourself and your faculty members or your students. Do that. And that will make you go places. I'll not take much of the time because this morning I had the privilege of conversing with Mr. Patil, and the kind of, the age is only a number, but he is still young at heart, let me tell you, and the kind of experience and knowledge that he has. I'm only building a background and a ground for you to be prepared to listen to him. He is such an encyclopedia. And I had my day beginning very good this morning. I had a lot of questions which were already there listed in my mind, and I poured it at him, and he was gracious enough to answer that. So I'll stop here, and please be prepared to listen to other dignitaries who are having much more knowledge and messages to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your inspiring words. Now, I request our Honorable Chancellor, Professor U.B. Desai, to deliver the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Patil, Dr. Mantri, our guest of honor, Mr. Karthik. I hope I got the name right. My other colleagues and dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries in the audience, and fellow students. I still say fellow student because one is always a student. You never really grow up. At least that's what I like to believe, Yeah. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Mantri, Dr. Murthy, and everybody else at Anurag University for this particular program. It is really impressive. I think I may be missing out on numbers. I just heard there are students here from 14 states, if I'm right. So that's really very impressive. So it is, in a sense, pan-India program that we are having, and not simply, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Also, I was told that there are, how many people have registered? Some 800? No. 1,500 have registered, and today's attendance is 700. Not 700 are here. Apparently there is a D block and some alternate blocks are there. They're listening to us live. So welcome to everybody, those who are from Telangana and all the remaining states who are present out here. We are indeed delighted to host you out here, and I hope you have a wonderful experience at the Youth Conclave. INAE hosts this Youth Conclave every year. Okay, and I think we move from university to university. I think it is basically, in a sense, to enthuse and to inspire students and encourage them to think of doing more in technology. After all, you are in an engineering institute, engineering university. You're already doing a lot, but this is just to inspire a lot more, that you can look at some of the cutting-edge technologies out here. Okay, many things have been mentioned, so I'll try not to repeat most of it. Okay, and try to keep my presentation brief so that, I know if I was sitting in the audience by now, I would be dead bored, and probably, I'm surprised people are still looking at me and not at their phone. Okay, so I would be looking at my phone and doing things I wanted to do. So I'll keep the presentation short. See, today's times are very turbulent, in the sense, you have the technological revolution, as was mentioned earlier, AI, ML, we are all worried what it is going to do. Frankly, I'm not worried. Not that because I won't have to face it, But I've seen many such technological changes in my life. Every time something new comes, all the way from the slide rule to the calculator to the computer, to desktop computer, mainframe computers, desktop computers, all along. So I think this is one of those, again, of course, AI is a much more powerful tool, but we will cope with it, and I think things will stabilize. Right now there are transients, so we are all really getting a little worried. But perhaps the bigger worry which is there, and I think Anurag did allude to that, is the changing geopolitical order. Lots of things are happening. Like today morning, you must have seen some news item, and many of the students might be worried out here what's going to happen to them. But you will graduate after 4 or 5 years. By that time, maybe the rules will change. Let's hope so. Okay. So I think, how do you cope with that? So I will leave aside the geopolitical order. I'm not an expert on it. Someday you should invite somebody who can talk more on that and how one can manage that, because we have to live through it. It is not something we can ignore or push it under the rug. But technology is something we are very familiar. A lot of technological revolutions are taking place. Okay? And I think you are going to experience a lot more than what I have experienced. I just narrated in some sense my journey. In school, of course, in fact, I should go one back step. Normally we run tables, like just to add. Then I had log tables. I don't know if anybody has heard of something called log tables. Okay. So we did log tables, of course, you remember that. Then we had slide rules. Okay. Then we had calculators. Then came mainframe computers, mini computers, desktop computers. Today we have a cell phone which does everything. I don't even need a mainframe computer, cloud computing, etc. So, and many other technologies, I've lived through the whole thing. So I think, but today what is happening, AI was mentioned, a big thing, quantum computing. It is there in the horizon, it will come. I'm really happy that India has a quantum computing mission, and it is a big mission. Okay, we have invested very heavily in it. There are several hubs which have been set up, and heavy amount of work is being done out here. Okay. In AI also, a lot of work is being done. In fact, I saw the news item that Bharat Gen, which is being developed at IIT Bombay, the Minister for IT gave something like close to 1,000 crores, maybe a little less than that, sizable sum of money. And many other activities are also there. Semiconductors is very, very big coming up. There are several fabs which are being developed in the country. Perhaps the biggest one is coming up in Dholera, which is about 2 hours from Ahmedabad. Okay, and Tatas are building that particular fab. We are hoping at least a fab will come up in Telangana. Let's hope it will actually happen. Space communication is becoming very big. As you must have read, Elon Musk has already got the permit. I don't know exactly when he will start launching his space communication in India. Pricing is being worked out. Okay, I think it will be a matter of time. And along with that, Airtel and Jio, both are going to launch it. So suddenly our whole access to communication technologies is going to change, with space communication coming into picture for civilian use. It's always been there for defense and strategic departments. Okay, space technologies are coming up. India has opened up, and Bangalore, Chennai and Hyderabad have had space companies, Agnikul, Skyroot, etc., etc. They are doing extremely well. Rockets are being developed by a startup. Something which one would have never thought of, that how can rockets be developed by a startup? We always thought that will be a government job, a PSU will do it, but these are private companies that are doing it, and it is going to grow. Mr. Patil can talk a lot more about it. He's on the board of InSpace, which kind of looks at all these things. Advanced materials, all kinds of complex materials are there. We don't realize it, but it is there. When you sit in the aircraft, the kind of material which is used for his body, even the automobile that you have, and you look at the material that was used even 15 years ago, 10 years ago, it's profoundly different. Lots of things are happening. And many new things are coming up. Biotechnology, okay? I think there's a huge amount of work that is being happening. Hyderabad is one of the hubs for biotechnology. So that's also changing essentially how things will, how we will be treated, how things will happen. Pharma technology. Okay. Lots of things are happening. So I think you are going to grow up in this particular environment. Okay. And now, you have to contribute to it. Don't just think of being a user. Unfortunately, in India, we have always thought of being users of this thing, and we develop apps. Apps are simply user apps. Okay. I think as a youth, and this is our hope from INAE, that is Indian National Academy of Engineering, that you will actually contribute in developing this technology. If you contribute in developing, you own the technology. Today, bulk of the technology, unfortunately, is owned by the United States. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, yes, there are some Europeans also have it, UK has it, now China is a big player, Japan has been there, Japan also owns a lot, Korea is there, Taiwan is there, and that just about rounds up everything. Even Australia does not own technology, they are users of technology. Okay. New Zealand doesn't have it, many smaller countries don't have it. So I think you have to think about it. Our youth power is what will carry us forward in owning technologies. And I think that is something we need to work towards it, and not simply being users or what is normally called in India, we do a jugaad. The existing technology, we twist it around and say, aha, don't be happy with that. Okay? So I think these are the things that I'm looking forward to it. I think the second thing, which again Anurag has mentioned, I'd like to elaborate, is what we need in India is collaboration. We don't have that. Every Indian thinks that he's the boss. The famous statement by Narayan Murthy, India's per capita GDP is the lowest, but our per capita ego is the highest. Okay? So I think it's not the lowest, the per capita GDP, but it's not way up there. It's fairly, with 1.4 billion population, when you divide the GDP, the number is not very large. But I think we need to cooperate. We don't collaborate, we don't cooperate, and we see that around. Sometimes we see in our sports teams also, each one is playing their own game. Okay. But I think this, and I can say that what we need is cooperative competitiveness, and US is a master at it. Very rarely you will see, for example, Google criticizing Microsoft. On the other hand, Microsoft criticizing Google. It never happens. But they're competing all the time, very intensely. They respect each other. Okay, I think that is something we need to develop, and that, my generation failed in doing that. I'm hoping that your generation, the youth out here, will actually bring that to fore. Okay, so with these few words, okay, I will stop here, and I wish you all the best for the conclave, and I hope you carry home, very fond memories of the conclave, of INAE and Anurag University. Thank you very much.
That was exceptional. But having said that, I don't want to stop Mr. Patil, who is next, and even I am actually waiting to hear from him. So I'll be very quick here in my few words. And I've come prepared because I knew that there are such dignitaries here, and I cannot go wrong. So I've just come prepared here. So, first of all, it's a matter of, I'll just read out my address. It's a matter of great privilege and honor for me to share this dais with such extraordinary people. And secondly, being in the company of such enthusiastic engineering students, it's always a pleasure for me. Not only it takes me back to my engineering days, that is more than 25 years ago, but also the learning and the ideas I get from the young minds. So these are two important things. And so thank you so much for making me a part of this. And the theme of today, the Youth Conclave 2025, that is AI and social engineering for a better tomorrow. There cannot be more appropriate at this moment, as the whole planet and the society is undergoing a transformational change with AI. So we are at an inflection point in human civilization with the advancements we are seeing in AI. I finished my engineering in CS in '99, and my electives in the 7th and 8th semester to the students here were AI and neural networks. So this phase in the history of AI was what we called as AI winter, and which means there was no major breakthrough in that area due to various reasons, and which we can discuss. We did not have the books or even the subjects available in India. Maybe the seniors here on the stage can share the challenges one faced in actually learning AI or neural networks back in the day. And, but now, just a quick question to the students here. November 30th, 2022 changed everything. What
do you know what happened on November 30th, 2022, if anybody? Yeah, I heard it right. So ChatGPT got released on that day and everything got changed. So November 30th, 2022 is one of the most important dates in the recent history of AI, I would say. And as someone who has been working with computer technology and AI very closely in the past 26 years, I can confidently state that AI is real and not hype. And it's not like metaverse or blockchain or Bitcoin where the hype was more. But I think AI is much real than those technologies of the past. And so this brings me to the actual theme of this conclave. And I would say that cutting edge technologies like AI can be a tool or a weapon. So technology can be used for social good and also as a social evil. And I'm really impressed by the sub-themes that are also chosen, that is across education, climate, sustainability, healthcare, and space exploration. So that's a great selection actually. And the most important ingredient for AI for the students here is the underlying data. And we need to spend a lot of time in discussing and debating and deciding on the type of data that we are going to use for the AI model. So that's very important. And because I am dealing with the customers on a commercial basis, and I know the challenges that we face in choosing the right data sets and the ethical part of it and those kind of things. So that's very, very important. And please take a closer look at the wonderful theme for the conclave, because one important part in the conclave's theme today is better tomorrow. AI in social engineering for a better tomorrow. The better tomorrow part is very important according to me. And because AI in social engineering alone can be extremely dangerous. You have phishing, you have cyber attacks, you have deep fakes, you have cloning, and all this is also part of social engineering. So social engineering for good is more important. So please take that with you. And I think it's a responsibility of each and every one of us, especially the engineers working in building AI, to use AI for good and to use AI ethically, morally, and responsibly for the society and greater good. So we can have these discussions in classrooms later, but there's so much to talk about the ethical part of AI. So my students, we can keep discussing this for more hours, but I'm sure, we are waiting for the conclave, and I think I wish the best for everything for the Youth Conclave, and I'm most certain that all the students participating here will have a great time learning while having fun and carrying some fantastic memories for a lifetime. So thank you very much, and have a fantastic conclave today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And now for the moment that we've all been waiting for. May I invite our chief guest, Mr. J.D. Patil, President of INAE, to deliver the presidential address.
I want to start first, of course, acknowledging the seniors. And whenever I'm in a university, I go back to more than 50 years back when I was myself a student. So to the gurus, first pranam to my gurus. And I think what Professor Uday said is absolutely right. All of us remain the student for our lifetimes. And despite being out of a formal school 5 decades earlier, I still believe I am a student. This is a thought which is extremely important from the consideration that the world is evolving, and it's evolving faster and faster. The innovations that happened in the world in the tens of thousands of years have happened in past 1 century. Now the pace of innovation is going to be at that rate, and when it spirals and keeps doing more and more, its only capability which the God has given to a human being, all of us being privileged to be that, is the ability to think. Ability to think and innovate and do better every day. You finish your day and look back on the day as to what you did, and can you do better tomorrow, Every day if you do that, there's absolutely nothing that can stop your growth and what you can achieve, not for yourself, but also for your country. If one can start looking back into what has happened to India. Anurag talked of the word Bharat, and that triggered this thought in me. The same Bharat that got independence, call it just about 77 years back. Do you know the Bharat when I was a child? This Bharat did not have food to give to its people. Less than 1/4 of India's population of today, less than 30 crore people, and we had to ask our people not to eat twice a day. This was a day when we faced 3 wars in 1 decade. The Prime Minister had to tell, don't eat one time. Out of 14 times a week, 2 times a day, if you eat, there won't be food to give to the soldiers. So this is an India which all of us have seen right in our own lifetime. And from that consideration, when you start looking at, from my first project site as a professional in Lassen Tubro, I used to spend 1 full day to talk to my own head office for 3 minutes. You had to travel 2.5 hours, then stop at a post office, book a trunk call, make that trunk call into a lightning call after waiting for a few hours, speak saying that I don't have these drawings, I don't have these subsystems, this equipment that has reached site. Now tell me if I have to finish this project ahead of time, what is that I need? And it used to take 1 full day. Today we can do that by pulling a cell phone. So this is a change that exactly 4 decades, 4.5, 5 decades that India has gone through. Now this change obviously happened because there are people who worked and there are people who essentially committed their lifetime to this country. The Bharat that we keep talking, just 1,000 years back, this Bharat went on the east beyond Myanmar. On the west, it went right up to part of Iran, Afghanistan, and it was broken up by the British 7 times, and what you see as the Bharat today is just a part of what that Bharat was. Now it is important to know your own history for an absolutely simple reason. When you start thinking of the developed nation, another 20 years when you will be in your mid-careers, you need to know what exactly was that Bharat, few generations behind. Go 300 years back. What do you think India was in terms of the global GDP? What are we today? What is the percentage of the global GDP that India contributes? Any ideas? It's 4.3% today. So if there's 100 rupees the world produces, we produce 4. So while we say we are a developed nation, and we know, I just talked of the stark difference when I started my career or I was a student to where I am today. We are truly a developed nation in lots of senses because at least in the strategic sectors, there is no capability that India does not have. And I say it by being related and extremely close 4.5, 5 decades that I have spent in the industry, whether it's nuclear, whether it is space, whether it is defense. And each of those capabilities, what the world will want to have, India had built and it has. What we don't have is the mass consumption stuff. Now, this is essentially where it becomes important that if you are today at 1/25 of the world, 25 times of India becomes the world. What was it? Exactly 300 years back. Not too far back. Let's not talk of Ramayana and Mahabharata times. The India that day was roughly 25% of the world. Why do you think every invention, or rather Everybody came to sort of rule India and take piece of India and loot and loot and loot India for nearly hundreds and hundreds of years. They made us poor. From, even if I go another 400 years back, every 1 rupee out of 3 in the world was happening in India. So India, what through stories one has heard, is Sone ki chidiya. The India that was Sone ki chidiya, so used to bring everybody in the world to take a piece of this gold and take it out. And this is the piece of gold we are actually going to recreate. And this is the journey of India by, if I say next 50 years, 100% certainty. We probably will be number 1 or number 2 economy, more probably number 1 economy by 2070. By 47, if we are looking at, we would have become 1 in 5. 20% of the world GDP would happen in India. From today's, as I said, 4.2, 4.3%. Now, is the world going to stop growing? The world is going to grow. So we got to grow much, much, much faster, and we have to multiply, not grow. Now, when you grow by geometric progression, which is what an engineer would say, you need to do something very special. And that something special is precisely where the youth of India matters. If one looks at those days of 1 in 3, 1 in 4 that was happening in India, obviously the CG of the world, economic activity, was right here. Because there was China to the east and there was West, and West was not developed. From here, the CG started moving in last 250 years, went completely to the West. And because US was the big economy and others were small, the CG was somewhere around, I would say, the European region. It is already back in Asia. And with India and China coming together, and we saw some great bonhomie geopolitics last couple of days back, right in SCO kind of a event that happened. This CG is going to be firmly into India in those exactly next 20 years of time. Now, this is what means an amazing opportunity, what Dr. Mantri talked about. The opportunity ahead of you is not growing 5 times. It is probably 25 times because of the geometrical progression that we are talking about. Now, when you set out to do that, is a book ever going to help you? There's nothing like solved example in life, right? Solved example will only make you a bookish worm. So you got to step out of that book. Because a real life problem, I can tell you most dreaded tests at IIT in those days, and Professor Desai will agree with me, was an open book test. The paper or the one single question used to be given by the professor. He used to come and write it on the blackboard and used to say, you write this. If it was an open book test, your entire time was on looking at the books. And you wouldn't really think in terms of what the real solution would be. And this is exactly where my compliments to the kind of position which you are taking on this kind of hackathons and conclaves. Once you draw students out of the classroom, what Professor Anurag talked about, doing the real life stuff in a simulated environment, if you don't fail, you're aiming too low. When do you fail? Achieving 99 is also considered a failure, right? When you set out to score 100, 99 is failure. But 99 is a failure, is a way of looking at it. Somebody would look at 50 as great. So for him, 50 is a great success. But that 99 for some is a failure. And that failure actually teaches you the more and more and more of those failures that you see, which Professor talked about, actually prepares you more and more and more to the real life that you are going to be taking on. And mind you, the challenge in front of you is not to grow linear. And this growth is not for you. This growth, what you are going to be doing, you certainly will be one big beneficiary. But the biggest beneficiary of it is not just your country, is the whole humanity at large and the whole world at large, because for a very simple reason, we know India never ever wanted to conquer any other part of the world. We were the ones who gave away. So giving away is something which is very easy to all of us. India, we look at philosophy and we say, my own piece of my heart, my daughter I give out, right? I give her in a marriage. Now this is the kind of place where all of us as Indians, we used to that aspect of giving. This aspect of giving also made us the world's biggest talent factory. Professor Anurag was bang on. 16 lakh people enroll for engineering every year. As INAE, we know this. 10 to 11 lakh people, 1.1 million engineers pass out. Maybe 1,100 out of that are going to shape tomorrow's world. And that's the process of, call it elimination, call it the process of who's better than rest. And that who's better than rest does not stop at university or a class. It now goes not only to your state or your country. I'm a state topper. Go into an IIT, you will find every alternate guy is a state topper. Go out and then you start seeing, but there's somebody from China, somebody from Korea, somebody from Japan, and you're competing with them. And when you're competing at the global level, you need to be doing still the better. Still even superior when you want to achieve those kind of results and those kind of performances. What takes you to do that is precisely what you're going to undergo as part of these conclaves or these kind of hackathons, because these hackathons prepare you for that real world. The real world is far more complex, far more volatile. Every day things change. All variables keep changing. And in that environment, the one who excels and continues to excel, excelling one day is not good enough. Excelling every day to achieve something becomes extremely important. On that note, I can tell you some of those big success stories that happened in India. You all saw what happened during Op Sindoor. Started with the Pahalgam massacre, then happened. How many days later? 11, 12, 13, 14. I think the 14th or the 15th day. When do you celebrate death? 10th, 11th, 13th, right up to 16th. Depending on beliefs, right, in India, up to 16th day, you do the Shraddha. So India did its own Shraddha in the form of what happened in Sindoor. If you want to know some of the capabilities that were deployed in Sindoor, most advanced nations don't possess. Do we brag about it? Do we talk about it? So India shows by doing, not about talking and bragging. To get a missile through a shaft of less than 1 meter by 1 meter ventilation shaft of a command center, that missile passes through that 1 meter by 1 meter opening, the command center deep down below embedded into a bunker, and that is the precision which India showed it can achieve. India achieved precision to be able to not disturb the, call it the assets of somebody, not Pakistani. But nobody can ever access to those assets, we ensured, by absolute precision in only the entry point being shut. So nobody can ever access to those strategic weapons which were stored. The third dimension, the first attack was about the terrorist headquarters. Deep down, hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, if you are to achieve an accuracy of 2 meters, 3 meters at those distances, just calculate. All of us are engineers, right? R theta we understand. Error at 300 kilometers of 3 meters, divide. 3 divided by 300 into 1000, right? Now look at the precision. How does one achieve that? Does anybody in the world does it? The answer is no. 800 missiles and drones and projectiles came into India. How many did we kill? 100%. Can Israel achieve it? Supposed to be technologically the most developed nation. Can US achieve it? The Patriot system that US talked of big few decades back during the Gulf War had a success rate of 19 to 21%. That means if 100 missiles came, you would kill 19 to 21, rest would flow. They will come in, fly in. If you had multiple layers of it, maybe out of the balance 80, 21% would go. So if you have multiple layers, you can't achieve it. But India achieved it with few layers in the air defense. And the air defense that we actually use at the command level is all about AI. The same subject that we are going to be talking. So imagine what AI today can do. And the imagination is not limited by your own human mind, and that's where you need more than one human mind to be able to build a picture a little more holistically, because if you have one piece of it, and one amazing story that comes to my mind when we talk of one person versus a team, which again Anurag started talking, you need to build teams. We all heard about the Panchatantra, the elephant. Put in as many number of people, blindfold them, and blindfolding in this case is not about physical blindfolding. Each one of us has created our own blinkers. Each of those blinkers are those blind zones which we don't see, and each one of us then trying to achieve or trying to feel out our same elephant, and we say it's something different. It takes multiple of us to be able to see that no, it's little more different and little more holistic than each one of us individually are seeing. And this is exactly what happens in real life. So you need teams. Teams can't happen in classrooms. At Lesson to Bro, when we recruit the topmost talent, we first ask them how many extracurricular activities you've been part of. And if you are not part of extracurricular activities, you are only a bookish worm, maybe the top 3 we would not recruit. Because life, when you are doing amazing things in engineering, is not about individual excellence. You certainly need Tendulkars. You need the Virat Kohlis, but you'd like that. You need people who certainly then can bring people together, and people together with open minds actually will innovate, do better and better. Before I close, let me talk a little more about INAE. This is an Indian National Academy of Engineering, which is part of, call it, a much larger global arena. Worldwide, there are 33 such academies. The world has more than, 190 countries. The only 33 who believe engineering is extremely important to them, and engineering and technology must be a main course in terms of its ability to think and advise the government as to what to do when it comes to engineering and technology. It's not just about advising, it's also about facilitating, doing, igniting minds. And that's essentially what, as INAE, we do about few dozen programs every year. INAE used to be, when founded in 1987, was considered so important to the nation that the Prime Minister of India felt it is important that he launches and inaugurates the founding of INAE. So this is what is INAE's journey from 1987 to today. We are just about 39, entering our 40th year. So we are just going to be 40. But over this journey of 40, what INAE did was to look for people who did, call it beyond the sky kind of work in engineering or in technology. Felicitate those people as fellows. So we confer fellowships. As on date, I can tell you there is less than 1,000 Indians that are INAE's celebrated fellows. Professor Desai happens to be one, I happen to be one. So out of these 992 on date fellows, obviously this is the best and best of the minds out of anything that one can think, any domain in engineering that you can think. We look at 10 domains of engineering, and then we actually put all these people every year into 4 or 5 major programs that we do. And these programs are all about future technologies. So you decide a theme, discuss about technologies. We call it Engineers Conclave. In Engineers Conclave, you again bring people, decide very clear 2 themes, and 2 themes run parallel except for some plenary sessions. They're extremely enriching sessions in terms of where engineering gets discussed, because you can imagine if out of 1,000, 300 of those fellows are present, what's the wisdom in a room? And to benefit out of what is happening within that hall, then becomes a privilege for people to come in. This privilege, till 2-3 years back, used to be restricted for participation to only these 1,000. So obviously the INAE leadership at that point in time decided that we now must allow, and we must make it much larger, reach out to much larger number of people. I mean, reaching out to youth, promoting entrepreneurialism, varieties of those things we already were doing, but we said no, some of these flagship major events are the annual conclave and those kind of things. Thank you so much. He says Young Engineering Award. We have young fellowships. We don't call them fellow, we call them associates. Anybody up to age of, call it anywhere between 30 to 45 becomes a young associates. And there are a few hundreds of young associates. Every year we have at least a dozen different kind of fellowship programs, and those we keep running about. What we began those 2-3 years back is to say that we now create something called members of INAE. Like every place you see chapters, we say at the core itself will allow academic institutions, or for that matter the corporates, to become our members. So once a corporate is a member or an academic institution is a member, of course their students and their professors automatically become beneficiary. You can join in through a login, and then a hall full of people can actually be participating in that. Anurag University decided to become our member. So I must tell you, this is where Anurag's positioning is. And as of today, we have out of the 24 IITs, about 16 or 17 are our members. The rest are yet to become members. So there are some forward-looking institutions, and of course, they're taking benefit of it. Then we said, as young engineers, typically anybody who's practiced engineering truly for 5 to 7 years, why don't we allow them to come in? If you really did hardcore engineering, and not about getting into financial markets. I mean, we know a whole lot of IITians today actually being super brainy. They also start doing lots of things which are good for an economy, but not good for engineering in future. So if you did some hardcore engineering work, development of products, technologies, systems, system of systems, complete platforms. And that's a journey of a nation to start doing from a component level, which necessarily, good old days if one looks at, everything India produced was on a transfer of technology. What India today produces, we are the only ones who can put in a Chandrayaan on the South Pole. Why South Pole? Any one of you knows why South Pole? Why not the equator where everybody else went? No, not about water. No. Finding water on moon, Chandrayaan 1 did. We were the ones who told the world there is water there. Chandrayaan 3. There's abundant source of future energy in the forms of isotopes, and that is in South Pole. And this is the only reason nobody in the world talks of it, but India wants to go to South Pole. We do a Mars mission, and the Prime Minister of India has been on record. It costs less than the rickshaw fare per kilometer. The Westerners call it the tuk-tuk. Less than the tuk-tuk rate per kilometer is the money. So innovation, when it happens in India, it happens at a different scale and a different level. Thrift, frugal, leapfrogging. If these words have to be associated, they all belong to Indian minds. This is the reason you find Indians sitting at the top of major institutions and organizations, including large corporates all over the world. When challenged, we can do amazing things. And the challenge cannot be in the form of a paper for what you write in an exam or you do in a class. And that is when you excel. You begin to excel, and then it becomes a journey of every day doing better, as I said, than yesterday. And if we continue doing that, it becomes a way of life. If it becomes a way of life, the nation grows. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I must also compliment here. I see the room enormously diversified. The demographic dividend that we keep talking about is not just about boys. Do you want to know what is the best in the country, world, anywhere, women participation rate that exists? 98%. That means 50% of your population, if you take it as men and women, 49 out of 50 actually contribute to the economy, which is not the case in India. In India, it is less than 1/3. And because it is that 1/3, this room gives confidence that the participation rate actually will improve. You are still looking at students, but another 1 year, 2 years down the line, they become part of the mainstream. And when that happens, economies not grow, they multiply. what happens in real life happens in corporations, that also happens to a nation. So let's look forward to that India in our own living time. Certainly in your own working careers, we will reach that pinnacle, as I said. And maybe by the time you reach your superannuation ages, we would be that #1 economy in the world. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I thank all of our dignitaries for enlightening us with their wisdom and knowledge. I now request our dignitaries to felicitate our guest of honor, Mr. Karthik Matmari. I request our dignitaries to felicitate our chief guest, Mr. J.D. Patil.
Dear participants and respected dignitaries, as we draw the curtains on the INAE Youth Conclave inaugural, let us carry forward the ideas ignited today, ideas that will shape tomorrow's innovation and inspire meaningful actions. Thank you for your presence and participation.
This marks the conclusion of the inaugural of INAE Youth Conclave 2025. Signing off, Susan Vinolia
And Satvika.
Participants are requested to stay for 2 minutes. Patience is the key, I know. Just 2 minutes. Thank you. I hope everyone has enjoyed the inaugural today. There is a tea break nearby in the canteen area that is below the examination branch. After that, you can move to your respective venues to the rest of the day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your participation.